Okay, in today's video, I wanted to talk about something that's a little bit different than what we normally talk about. If you're familiar with me and my channel, you know that my largest position is Crsr Gaming. And if we head over here to Fidelity, you can see that over the last couple of weeks, we have just been getting absolutely obliterated. The market is in a complete downturn. The turmoil, especially for a lot of these smaller cap growth companies, I mean, it is just a free fall pretty much day after day for the last 2, 3, maybe even 4 weeks. Now, while I have been losing a lot of money now, I don't think that's the direction we're heading long term. And normally I like to talk about long-term fundamentals, my strategy, and I wanted to do something kind of a little bit more fun to me. And in today's video, it's gonna be something we usually never talk about, and that is the potential for an uproar in a stock that I hold. And it's actually my largest position, which is Crsr Gaming. Now, like I said, if you know me, if you follow my channel, you follow my strategy, I am focused on the long term in this company. Go ahead and look here at my Fidelity portfolio, and let's look at this right here, Crsr $40 call, okay? It says September 16th, 2022, almost exactly 1 year out from now. I sold covered calls against my position for $1,621. That's what an investor somewhere out in the Wild West paid me to solely hold this stock for the next year. And this is at a $40 strike price. And so basically what I'm doing is I'm agreeing to hold the stock for the next year. If it's over $40 a share, I will sell it. If it's under, I'll continue to hold my shares gladly. But that shows you as proof that I'm focused on the long term. I don't care if it goes to $30 tomorrow, $35 tomorrow, or if it even goes down. If it goes to $15 tomorrow, I'm not interested in selling. But what I wanted to talk about is actually a short-term potential for this stock. If we go ahead and look at Webull here, this will show the entire trading history of Crsr Gaming since it went public back on September 23rd of 2020. So it's been public, it just hit its year anniversary just last week, and now it has been public for a year, and it's done pretty good since that original IPO price of $15.12. But it is downtrended for the last several months. Since hitting that high in October of last year, or excuse me, November of last year, this stock has pretty much went down and down and down. But what I wanted to look at today is when I hover my mouse here. I was on Webull today and I was looking at prices of the stocks that I own, and I looked at Crsr and I was hovering my mouse around the screen and I came across this. If you look right here, HTB, which stands for hard to borrow, Webull puts this estimated borrow fee rate at 15.88%. Now, to put that in perspective, I have a couple others in my portfolio here, like iRobot is also one that is considered hard to borrow at a 1.5. Now, if you don't know what borrow fee rate is, when someone shorts a stock, they have to pay interest on holding those shares because they're borrowing from the broker. And so if that borrow fee rate is, let's say, 2%, and they hold that stock for a year, they have to pay a 2% fee. And so if that borrow fee rate is, say, 20%, 10 times higher, and they short that stock and they hold it for the next year, then they have to pay 20%. And so if that stock doesn't go down at least 20%, then they're breaking even at 20% down. So they want that to be as low as possible. And so when that number is higher, a lot of times they try to force themselves out of their positions, because look at Crsr's, for example. Let's go back here. It was 15.88%. And so if Crsr Gaming doesn't go down at least 15.8% the next year, then the shorts are gonna be down on their money. Now, I wanna go over and head to iBorrowDesk here, and I wanna search CRSR, Crsr Gaming's ticker, and just to give a second reference to see how accurate this is. Now, once again, a little bit of this is estimates. It is not 100% accurate. These are all estimates using different trading algorithms, but it's just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Looking at that borrow fee rate, it has steadily gone up. In fact, it's actually pretty much skyrocketed ever since about September 24th, ever since this past week or so. And mostly because you can see the blue bar charts down here, 80,000 available, 85, 20, 100, 35, 20, and right now we're at 60,000 shares available, estimated available to short. Now, if you scroll out here and you look at the rest of this chart, normally this stock has 1 million shares plus available to short, which means people are currently buying up these shares, and it's making it harder and harder for people to short the stock, i.e. that borrow rate is going higher and higher and higher. And so now every day that people that are shorting the stock or holding their shares are starting to have to pay higher and higher and higher fees. If they're paying 1% a year, 2% a year, 3%, big whoop, not a big deal. But when you talk about 10%, 15%, 20%, that's when you start to get to the point where it's like, okay, we probably need to exit our positions. Looking at the NASDAQ here, let's go ahead and start, let's say right here at July 15th, okay? On July 15th, this company had 5.6 million shares shorted. 5.6 divided by the total float, which is about 36.5. You can see that they had roughly about 15% of the entire market cap strictly in short shares. Now let's keep going further. So if we go over here to July 30th and see that they had 7.25 million shares shorted, 7.25 divided by, once again, that free float of 36.5, now they have 20% of the company's market cap strictly in shorted shares. Now let's keep going. After that, they go to 8.7 million. Let's type in 8.7 divided by 36.5. Now they're up to 23%. Let's keep going. At the peak, which was just the other day, about a month ago, 11.1 million divided by 36.5, almost 1/3 of the company's entire market cap is shorted. And at today's number, the most recent update, which is about 2 weeks ago, we'll be getting an update about probably next week, later next week, but 10.5 divided by 36.5. As of today, as of the most recent report anyways, which I assume this number is actually higher with all the downwards movement this week, but as of the last report 2 weeks ago, this company has 28.76% of the company's entire market cap shorted. Now I want you to think about something real quick. Think about, for example, think about how many different ETFs hold this fund. Now there are different growth ETFs that hold this fund. The Russell 2000 has shares on hold. You have insiders that own the stock, whether it be management or different things like that own the stock. And then you also have retail investors. There are people like me that own shares that are focused on the long term. Like I said, I'm not focused on selling out at $30. I'm not focused on selling out at $35. There are many other investors out there that own hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of shares of Crsr Gaming, and they're not trading, they're looking to invest in the stock. And so there's so many people out there like me that say, for example, I own 500 shares of the stock. I mean, I know you guys, if you watch my channel, you probably see Financial Education Jeremy. That guy has like, I don't even know what he has now, like 10, 20,000 shares of Crsr Gaming. And that's a perfect example of someone who's investing in the stock and not looking at selling it. And so someone like Financial Education Jeremy is wanting to own Crsr Gaming in the same way that I am. He doesn't care what the short interest is, but this is just kind of a little bit of an icing on the cake for the short term that could force the stock to go higher. Because the way that the shorts need available shares is they need people like me to sell out. But downwards movements like today, let's go ahead and look at the last 3-4 days. You see that the last 3 days, red candle, red candle, red candle. This stock has just been downtrending and downtrending, and it seems like there's no end in sight. And if you're a brand new retail investor, it probably feels like it's never gonna end. It feels really painful. You see all these red numbers in the short term. But for me, I don't care. I'm confident in my position. I believe in the company. I've done my due diligence. I believe in the management. I believe in the financials. I believe in the underlying business. I think that I got in at a great price at $26.86. And that's the best part of all of this, is that since I picked such a good price to start my position at, I'm barely down. I'm down 3.48%, which is not that bad at all. That's literally one big green. If it has a giant green day up of 3% tomorrow, I'm back even. So it's not like I'm down a huge amount on the stock, but it really gets me excited because while I do believe in the long term of this company, while I do think the fundamentals are there, and I do think that will drive growth for people getting interested in the stock, it'll bring in funds, it'll bring more retail investors, but it is kind of fun. In the short term, it is kind of fun to see this potential for a potential short squeeze or a big rapid upwards movement as people might start getting squeezed out of the stock. Because like I said, going back here to iBorrowDesk, you see that it says 60,000 estimated shares available, and according to iBorrow, it's 17%, according to Webull, it's 15%. Regardless of what the number is, that borrow rate's going higher, the amount of shares available is going down, and people like me are buying shares like crazy. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was fun to make. I hope you found it helpful and interesting. Go ahead and check out any links down below if you want to support me and my channel, and thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.